In September of 1961, Paradise Valley Baptist Church was founded by Reverend George Bearden. The church gathered in the Education Center of the General Electric office building near 32nd Street in Shea. Louise Solheim was the first church clerk and the church pianist, and she is the last living founder of the Paradise Valley Baptist Church.
It was 61. That's the year we came to Phoenix. We started church, but we didn't have anybody to play the piano, and well, it was important to have somebody that could play the piano so we could sing. So I just did the best I could. There were so few of us, but it seems to me like since I had a fairly large family, probably that was most of them. My son Alan, he liked to go to church, and so he was all for getting started, and he's still a member. It kind of immediately started growing, because once people knew there was somebody there, that more came, and each Sunday more came.
Less than 2 years after the church started, the growing body decided to build a location of their own. So in May of 1963, the first church building was finished, and the members were able to worship in an open sanctuary. Once the church was well established, Reverend George Bearden moved on to continue planting other churches, but he first handed over the pastorship to Henry Van Comer. Pastor Van Comer took on the role while maintaining a teaching position at Southwestern Bible College. In 1968, Burdett Hamner became the pastor. He would pastor the church for the next 32 years. He, his wife Jean, and his 4 children, John, Steve, Dave, and Mary, were all very involved in the church ministry. His son Dave was the youth pastor, and Dave also started the Illusion Company, an evangelistic outreach program that uses illusions to teach the gospel. His sister Mary acted as his assistant. Today, Dave and his wife, Denise, continue this illusion ministry with a show in Branson, Missouri. Dave also currently pastors a church there. Pastor Hamner and his family helped the church to grow and fostered many new programs and activities, such as Wednesday night groups, including Boys Brigade and Pioneer Girls. Before the group time, volunteers served up dinner, and there was no excuse for missing church meetings. The bus ministry was faithful to pick up kids and adults for Wednesday night groups and Sunday school. Keith Smith, Jim Mabin, and Bob Burns were all a part of that original bus fleet. The buses were also used to transport people to church camp. The women enjoyed annual camp retreats in September, and the men took part in occasional retreats as well. When not at camp, the men and boys could participate on golf and baseball teams. Other activities included the Roundup, a Western day where every fall the members look forward to hay rides, pony rides, and barbecue, all while sporting their favorite Western wear. When summertime arrived, the kids would attend Vacation Bible School, and the church also had an active youth group that included chaperoned trips to various fun-filled destinations. By 1973, the church body began to outgrow its 200-person sanctuary, so new land was purchased and dedicated to construct our current-day building. The original church facility was sold, and members gathered at Southwestern Bible College until the new church could be completed. Scottsdale Baptist Church had sponsored Paradise Valley Baptist Church in its infancy, so Reverend Kenneth Stevens of Scottsdale Baptist spoke at the dedication service of the new building when it was completed in 1975. The members were grateful for the larger facilities. Here are just a few of the past and present members that you might recognize. In 1990, the church formed a school. It began as a preschool started by Jan Stevens and was originally called Kids Paradise. A grade was added each year until 8th grade, and the school was eventually called Paradise Mountain Christian Academy. Pastor Hamner's daughter, Mary Stanley, was the founding principal. In 2002, an education wing was added to the church building to create 10 new classrooms for the school. After several years running, the academy merged with another school and no longer needed the church facilities. So the classrooms are now used for meetings, childcare, and Sunday school classes. After 32 years of faithful service, Pastor Burdett Hamner retired. He and his wife now live in California, and today they have a special message for us in honor of the 50th anniversary.
Good morning. We'd love to have been there with you today on your celebration, but we're getting older and we're not traveling much now. We don't get around much anymore. But we do travel to Paradise Valley every night as we go to prayer, and we pray for the church and Jim and Christy, and pray for the ones that are working there. We certainly enjoy all the people that we hear was volunteering to work in the church and to keep it going. We want to thank you for the many blessings that we had with you as we served the Lord there in Paradise Valley. We're always so happy to have our family with us in the church, and you allowed them to work in the church and develop their spiritual gifts. And even today, they're still using those things that they learned at Paradise Valley in the churches where they attend.
Well, we're glad to be there with you all today, and we wish that we could have come. After Burdett and I were married, well, we went to a little Baptist church in Paris. Burdett was a farmer, and we one day were listening to this minister. He was an evangelist, and he was telling people that everybody should witness and tell people how to get to heaven. And I'd never heard that before. I didn't come from a Christian home. And so we wrote down some notes, and we began to study how to witness and tell people to get to heaven. Now, this pastor had said, you put your hand on their heart and you knock, and you say, "Behold, I stand and knock at the door." And that was supposed to be Jesus knocking at the door of the heart. Well, we couldn't hardly handle that, so we didn't use that method. But Burdett took the church when we moved to Phoenix, and we would go calling on the people that would visit and so forth. And people would ask us to go call on people, and so we would do that.
I have a group of World War II vets that I meet with at McDonald's every day, and most of them are passing away now. They come to that age, and a lot of them accept the Lord just before they go on to meet the Lord. And I had my 86th birthday this last week, so I'll be joining them pretty soon too. Joe Cardella was the one who really inspired me to be a witness. He was 100 years old when he died, and he was still witnessing to the nurses and everyone in the rest home. And I used to ask Joe, I said, "Joe, how come you talk to everybody about Jesus?" And he said, "Well, when I get to heaven, I don't want to be lonesome. I want to have people in heaven." And so Joe Gardella, he'd probably challenge you too if he was there, and he'd tell you, "You're only 50 now. You got a lot of years yet to witness for the Lord, so do a good job."
Thank you, Burdett and Jean Hamner, for making a way to be with us today through your message. In 2003, when Pastor Hamner and his wife retired, Tim Reed became the interim pastor until Monty Kaufman filled the position. Monty served as pastor for 6 years and now pastors a church in Wickenburg. It wasn't until 2009 that Jim Lanning first began as our current pastor. He also works as the chaplain for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He travels to cities all over the U.S. and then flies in on Saturday night in time to preach on Sunday. Pastor Jim generously donates his time to our church, so every third Sunday of the month, the church body takes a special offering for him. In fact, volunteers run the entire church and there is no payroll. Pastor Jim and his wife Christine and 2 of their daughters, Precious and Patience, have a singing ministry, and together they have several recorded CDs. Today, the church again is growing and is striving to meet the needs of the members and the community. Throughout the week, various activities fill the halls of this church building. Services are held Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. As for Sunday school, adults and kids' Sunday school classes take place before the Sunday morning service, and the church is proud of their current Sunday school teacher, Jerry Duplessis, who knows the Bible inside and out by book, chapter, and verse. Every 5th Sunday of the month, Chef Ollie McGinnis coordinates a lively potluck, and the church occasionally hosts game nights where people from neighboring churches are invited. Yes, there's plenty of activity here at Paradise Valley Baptist Church. We hope you will come and get involved in the work God is doing here, and we thank those who have already been serving the church in so many ways. At Paradise Valley Baptist Church, our purpose is to be a congregation of loving people who exist to love the Lord our God by reaching the spiritually lost and developing followers who are devoted to a daily walk with Christ. We are committed to coming together to worship God by learning His Word, building relationships, and being accountable to one another. May we follow the Lord's direction for the next 50 years and beyond.